Hi everyone. In today's challenge, we are going to solve this problem. The problem name is non-overlapping intervals and the problem number is 435. Alright guys, so first of all, we are going to clearly understand the problem statement. After understanding the problem statement, then we will move to the logic part. There we are going to see how we can solve this problem, what is the logic to solve this problem. And after understanding the logic part, then we will move to the implementation part. There we are going to implement our logic in Python, C++, Java and JavaScript programming language. Alright guys, so and guys, if you want to have a look on the solution which I'm going to implement in this video of Python, C++, Java and JavaScript, then you can go through the link which I will share in the description, and there I will be providing all the solution which I'm going to implement in this video, right? So you can go through that particular link as well. Now guys, let's see what this problem says. So problem says, given an array of intervals where intervals of I is start of I and end of I. So that is clear that we are given one array input, right? So we are given one input, that is array. This will have on each index this will have two values, start of I and end of I. So let me show you how it will look. So let's say this is an array or intervals array, right? Inside each index you will have a two value, 1 3 2 4 anything, right? 6 7. So you will have two value on each index, right? So it will be nothing but like a 2D array. So this what this represent 1 comma 3 is nothing but starting of starting time 1 and ending time 3. Just for your like understanding, you can understand like this. So this is nothing but an interval where the time period is nothing but between 1 to let me do this, between 1 to 3, right? I hope it makes sense. So this is nothing but interval between 2 to 4. So this is nothing but start of I and end of I. 2 is start and 4 is end. So interval is nothing but between 2 to 4, right? Now guys, what we need to do, return the minimum number of intervals you need to remove to make the rest of the interval non-overlap. So nothing guys, just we need to find a interval which is getting overlap and we have to remove that, and we need to find just minimum interval we need to remove so that we can get our this array intervals array non-overlap, right? Non-overlapping interval array, right? And we need to just, the logic is here just simple, we need to just find a minimum number of interval we need to remove, right? There could be more than like say we can say there in the array of 6 length we are getting a 3 overlap, but if we remove all of 3, that should not be the optimal one. Maybe there we need to remove only 2 interval or 1. Just we need to figure out that and we have to return that count, right? I know it's hard to understand, so let's understand with example, then you will have a better understanding, right? So in example 1 we have interval array 1 2 2 3 3 4 and 1 3. So let me write here 1 2, and second is 2 3, third is 3 4, and fourth is another one 1 3, right? So these are the four intervals we have, right? Now what we are going to do, we are going to see whether these are getting overlap or not, this interval array. So you can see guys, it is starting at 1 and ending at 2, right? And same thing is getting here 1 and 3, right? So both are starting at 1 and it should not be possible, right? Starting at 1 and ending at 3, that means nothing but this is in the period of this and this is also in the period of this, right? I hope it makes sense. So if I just make a simple line here, I don't know what's happening. Let me just remove this one and let's change a different color. So guys, if this is a line, this is nothing but 1, this is nothing but 2, this is nothing but 3, this is nothing but 4, right? So now you can see the first this one 1 2. So this is getting overlap over here, right? So 1 2 is nothing but this, but this 1 3 is also taking this particular thing, this particular part, right? So this should not be the case, right? This interval should be overlapping with this one. So which interval we should remove, that thing we need to think. But if we remove 1 comma 3, then let's see, if we remove this 1 comma 3 from here and here as well, now we have 2 comma 3 which is going to start from here. This is not getting overlap. 3 comma 4, this is starting over here. So you can see guys, now our array is not getting overlap anymore, right? Because we have removed just one interval, that is 1 comma 3. So that's was the answer over here. Just we need to remove only one interval. 1 comma 3 can be removed and the rest of the interval are non overlap, right? Simple thing. And we have seen with the visualization as well. So you can see none of the interval is getting overlap if we remove 1 comma 3, right? And if you remove 1 comma 2, then let's take that case as well. I have 1 comma 2 then 1 comma 3, right? So this was the case if I remove 1 comma 2. All right, so I remove this and now I need to make 2 comma 3. So I get 2 comma 3, still I am getting overlap. So if I remove 1 comma 2 instead of 1 comma 3, then I will get only two intervals which are not overlap, but I need to remove two intervals, right? One is 1 comma 2, then is 2 comma 3 if I taking a 1 comma 3, right? So I hope that makes sense, but still if you are not understanding, let's move to the second example. There we are going to understand. So here guys, in second example we have intervals array 1 2 1 2 and 1 2. So I have this 1 2, again I'm going to say 1 2, again I'm going to say 1 2, right? Three intervals and all three are getting overlap with each other, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to remove first two and we are going to say now only one interval is there, so which is not going to be overlap with any other, right? So we need to remove two intervals, so we are going to return output 2. Right, now let's move to the third example. In third example, we have intervals 1, 2, 2, 3. So 1, 2 we have already drawn, and let me just say like 1, 2 and 2, 3. So these are not overlapping anymore, right? So we are going to say return 0. We don't need to remove any interval because each interval are non-overlap, right? So we are returning 0. I hope it makes sense, right? So we have seen the problem statements and also seen the examples. I hope you understood the problem statement now. So what we need to do, actually, we are given one input array, and where on each index we will have start time and end time of that particular, we can say index, or we can say element, or we can say interval, right? So now what we need to do, we need to just find overlap interval. We need to remove minimum number of overlap intervals so that our array should be non-overlapping, right? Now let's see logic part, how we can do this. So I'm going to remove all these things. I'm going to write here logic. Alright guys, so let's understand the logic part. What we need to do, we don't need to do anything, just accept 2 or 3 times. Main logic is nothing but sorting algorithm, right? We are going to just sort it. So we are given this intervals array. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say this is okay. What is happening? Alright, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 4, and 1 comma 3, right? So this was our array, right? So what we are going to do, guys, here we are going to just sort on the basis of starting index, starting time. Simple. So here if I sort on the basis of start time, so 1 comma 2 will come here, then 2 comma 3 will not come here because 1 comma 3 is also there present, so it's going to come here because it is the next greater or equal to, then 2 comma 3, then 3 comma 4, right? So you can see, guys, all the now we can see intervals are on the sorted on the basis of starting. Here 1 then 2 then 3, right? Now once we sorted on the starting index, then we are going to do nothing but we are going to check if this interval is overlapping with this one or not. If it is so, then we are going to remove any of the we can remove either this or this. We are going to think about that, right? So let's see how we can solve now. So first step was to sort this on the basis of start time. Now second step is going to be nothing but start intervals, right? So we have taken initially this one interval, so we can say our first interval is going to be this one, definitely this is going to be this one, and we are going to traverse over the rest of the array, right? So let's say traversing over this array. So my this initial, let me just give a space here, right? So guys, I'm going to say fine, currently I have taken a 1 comma 2 array, and I'm going to start from this rest of the array, right? So let's say this is nothing but we can say previous, and my current is going to be, now if I am here, so current is going to be nothing but what? So current is going to be nothing but we can say 1 comma 3, right? Now guys, we have to check just the previous end time should always be smaller than the current start time, right? Is it the case, right? Otherwise it is going to be overlap, right? So you can see, guys, previous end time is 2 but current start time is 1. So even previous should be smaller than the current start time, but here it is greater than, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to say if it is greater than, if it is greater than, that means these intervals are getting overlap. Either we can remove this one, or we can remove this one, but one interval has to be removed, right, to avoid the overlapping. So that will be decided by the this time as well. If previous end time is also greater than the current end time, then we are going to remove the previous one. Otherwise we are going to remove the current one. It is simple maths, right? So here in this case, let's see, here in this case we can see previous end time is greater than the current start time. That means any of the interval has to be removed. Now which interval we are going to remove? You can see previous end time is smaller than the current end time. That means it is fine, so we are going to keep a previous, but we are going to remove the current one. So this is going to be removed, fine, and previous is going to be same currently, right? So because we have removed the current one. Now let's move to the next one, that is 2 comma 3. So current is nothing but, let me say current is nothing but, okay, let me make it space here. So current is nothing but we can say 2 comma 3. Now previous end time is greater than current end time. No, it is not greater than. That means nothing but it's fine, this is not getting overlap. So let's move ahead, and now previous is going to be nothing but this one, and this is going to be removed. So now we have take previous is going to be nothing but this one, and now let's move to the next one, that is nothing but current is 3 comma 4. Current is 3 comma 4. So here previous end time is greater than current end time. No, so that means also it is not overlapping, so fine. So previous is going to be nothing but this one now, right? And we are going to move this one. Now let's move to the next one. But you can see, guys, there is no more, we can say, element present, right? There is no more interval present. So what we are going to do, we are going to say return 1. Why? Because we have removed just one element only, one interval only. So we are going to return nothing but 1. Simple logic, guys, right? I hope it makes sense. So I have just written a one example as well, example 4. Let's solve this one as well. So here, guys, we have 1 comma 100, 11 comma 22, and 1 comma 11, and 2 comma 12, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to say fine, we are going to sort on the basis of start index. So 1 comma 100 will come first, then which is the smaller, 1 comma 11, then 2 comma 12, then you can see 11 comma 22, right? So this is nothing but we can say sorted interval. Now we are going to take first one, which is nothing but previous is going to be nothing but first one, which is nothing but 1 comma 100, and current is going to be nothing but the first index. We are going to traverse from this particular, right? So current is nothing but initially our 1 comma 11. So which one is first of all we need to check whether these are getting overlap or no. So you can see previous end time is greater than current end time, right? So So let me just take a different column. Previous end time is greater than current end time, right? So 100 is greater than 1. So we are going to say fine, these are getting overlap. So we need to remove either previous or current. So which one we are going to remove? We are going to remove current or previous. So that on a check by this last. Previous end time should not be greater than current end time. Otherwise we need to remove the previous one, right? So here you can see previous end time is also greater than the current end time. So that means we have to remove the previous one. So we are going to remove previous one. So here previous is going to remove and current is going to remain us, right? So we are going to say now previous is going to be equal to current. Let me say just previous, and this is getting removed. Fine. Now current is nothing but we have taken this one. Now we are going to move to this second one, 2,12, and this is nothing but current. So you can see current is this. So we are going to say previous end time is greater than current end time. Current first start time, yes. So that means they are also getting overlap. So let's see end time with the current end time as well. So previous end time is greater than current end time. You can see guys, this is not greater than that, right? So that means what we are going to remove, we are going to remove current, right? So because these are not getting overlap, this previous end time is not greater than current end time, so we are going to remove the current one. So this is getting removed, and we are going to say fine, previous is going to be remain same, right? Now let's move to the next one, 11,22, right? So I'm going to say current is nothing but 11,22. Now guys, previous, first of all let's check whether they are getting overlap or no. Previous end time is greater than current end time. No, it's not greater than that. So that means this is not getting overlap. So we are going to say move ahead, and previous is going to be this one, and let me move this thing. Now, but you can see there is no more, we can say interval present in this array. So we are going to say return 2. Why? Because we have removed 2 elements. So we are going to return 2. I hope it makes sense, right? So by this example as well, I believe guys you understood the logic part as well. What we are going to do, we are just going to take the starting element of previous one, and we are going to keep traversing rest of the elements, and we are going to check if they are getting overlap or not. If getting overlap, that means any one of two is going to be removed, right? So we are going to remove either first or second. That will be checked by the end time of the previous and current end time. If previous end time is greater than current end time, so you have to remove the previous one. If previous end time is smaller than the current end time, so you have to remove the current one, right? Now let's see how we can implement this thing with Python, C++, and Java and JavaScript, right? So I'm gonna start with the Python first. So let me see the size. Yeah, 125% is better. So guys, what we are going to do first of all, we are going to say let's first of all check if intervals dot let me just write length. If interval of length is less than or equal to 1, that means there is only one interval present, or less than one interval present. So we are going to return directly 0, right? One interval can never be overlap, right? Okay, and now after that I'm going to say result 0. That means how many we can say interval we need to remove, that will be counted by result. Then we are going to say let's sort our interval on the basis of starting index, right? Sort, and where we are going to say key is going to be nothing but lambda, and here we're going to pass x of 0. This is how we are going to sort it. So once we sorted it, then we are just going to say for let me just first of all take a previous one, which previous is going to be intervals of 0. All right, so then we are going to say for interval in intervals like this is nothing but it's going to traverse from the first we can say intervals. It will skip the 0 interval. 0 interval means 0 index interval. Okay, there we are going to check if previous of, here you can see guys, if previous of end time means previous of 1, if it is greater than interval of 0 means start time. If it is greater than interval of start time means current start time. So let me give a name current, right? So which will make a more sense, which because we have understood in the logic part current and previous. So if previous of 1 is greater than the current of 0 means current of start time, then what we are going to do, we are going to say fine. If it is the case, that means we have to remove 1, right? So result plus equal to 1. But if it is not the case, then we have to say we are don't going to remove it because it is fine. So we are going to say previous should be now interval, not interval. We can say current, right? But one more condition come here. Which one we need to remove? So in this condition, if condition, we have to check which one we are going to remove it, right? So here we are going to say if, let me say if our previous of 1 is also greater than current of 1. That means nothing but if previous one is also greater than the current one, that means we have to remove the previous one. So we are removing a previous one, that means we are going to say previous should be equal to now current. But if it is not the case, then previous should be remain the same as it is, right? So previous will not be going to be changed. So let's return at the end result. And let's run this code and see whether it's looking fine or not. And I hope guys it should work, right? So you can see guys all the test case passed. So let's try to submit this code as well. So this is the Python, and hopefully it's going to submit as well. Let's see. You can see guys it successfully got submitted. All right, so now what we are going to do, we are going to say fine. Now let's move to the next programming language, C++. There guys, what we are going to do, we are going to say first of all check if intervals dot size is greater less than or equal to 1. Let me just write what is happening. Less than or equal to 1, then we have to return directly 0, right? After that you're going to say int result is 0, which will keep count how many intervals we have to remove. And after that we are going to say 4. Before that we have to sort it, right? So how we can sort it over here? We can simple sort intervals dot begin, and we can say intervals dot end, right? It automatically going to sort on the basis of first index, right? But let's see, first of all let's see whether it's getting sorted or not. After that we are going to move to the next part. Here we are going to say fine. After that we are going to say let's take a previous one. So previous one is going to be nothing but vector of int, and here we are going to say previous, which is initially pointed to intervals of 0, right? After that we are going to say traverse from the first index, and I less than intervals dot size I plus plus, and here we're going to say let's say vector in current should be equal to now intervals of i's, intervals, let me write intervals. Fine. Now we're going to check if previous of 1 means end time is greater than current of start time, that means it is getting overlap, so increment result. And check if previous of end time is also greater than current of end time, that means we need to remove the previous one. So we are going to say previous should be equal to now calculate current, otherwise previous remains same. And as condition we have to remove the previous, we don't need to remove anything, just we are going to say the intervals are not overlapping, so let's move ahead. So our previous going to be equal to now current. Fine. After that we are going to return 0. Now let's run this code and see whether it's working fine or not. So let's see that. So we go to error intervals dot begin. Oh, I haven't used r here. Intervals. Fine. Now let's see. Okay, it's taking a time, but it's got an issue over here is that, okay, that means nothing but we have to, okay, it's giving output 0, right? So what we can do guys here, intervals of i's, that is cool, that is cool. So we can sort it on the basis of 0 indexes, right? So we can say I'm gonna say nothing but, okay, I can do like this constructor comparator here, const auto ampersand a and const auto ampersand b, and then we're going to say fine return a of 0 should be less than b of 0, right? Now let's see whether it's working fine or not. Still this is the case, that means nothing but we are missing somewhere else. You also can try to find the bug here. Its current should be intervals of I, and previous of I should be if previous of n time is greater than that. That means it is overlapping result plus plus. Fine, that means it's never coming this case. Intervals of I, right? Fine, vector of int is current is intervals 5. If previous of I is less than current, that means if it is greater than that current of start time, that means it has to be overlap, right? Alright, so we are returning a 0 here. I don't know why it's, where is my mind game? Phew, this is the very worst bug. I'm returning a 0 by default. We have to return result, right? You can see guys, we are gonna submit now. Really sorry for this time guys, I have wasted a much time here. I don't know why I was returning a 0. Alright guys, you can see guys, it successfully got submitted. Now let's move to the next programming language, which is nothing but Java. And here we are going to say fine. First of all we are going to check if intervals dot length is less than or equal to 1. That means we don't need to do anything, return directly 0. But if it is not the case, so return is int result is going to be equal to 0. And then we are going to say sort this intervals array. So we can say array dot sort this intervals, and here we're going to say comparator dot comparing, and here we can say int, and here we are going to pass it a, which is going to be nothing but a of 0. Yes, this is how we are going to sort on the basis of 0 index. Now once this is done, we are going to say fine, or you can do like 4. Before that let's say int previous, let's like this, which is going to be nothing but intervals of 0, right? After that we are going to say 4 int I is equal to 0, I less than, not 0, I is equal to 1, I less than intervals dot length, let me write length, and I plus plus, right? Here we are going to say fine. Now we are going to take a current first. Current is going to be nothing but equal to, let's say, intervals of I, right? And we can do like this. Once this is done, yeah, we are going to check if previous of I means nothing but end time. Previous of 1 is if it is greater than current of start time, then we are going to say fine, we have to increment the result, as we don't have to increment the result. But here we are going to check also which one we need to remove. If previous of 1 is greater than current of 1, that means previous of n time is also greater than current of n time, then we have to remove the previous one. So previous is going to be now equal to current, otherwise previous is going to remain same. And here if it is not overlapping, so previous should be also equal to current. Now here we are going to return the result. Now let's see whether it's working fine or not. I hope it should also work, right? So it's, you can see all the test case passed. So let's try to submit this code as well, and it will gonna submit it. So you can see guys, it successfully got submitted. Now let's move to the next programming language, which is nothing but JavaScript. And here we are gonna say in JavaScript, if our intervals total length is less than or equal to 1, that means return 0, and int result is gonna be mathematic. Okay, don't worry. Here we have to use let result is equal to 0 because it is a JavaScript, right? Now guys, what we are going to do, we are going to say fine, now we are going to sort it intervals, right? So how we can sort it? We can sort it like intervals to sort, right? Here we're going to pass a comma b, and here we're going to say fine, we are going to say a of 0 minus b of 0. Fine. Now once this done, we are going to say fine, our previous is going to be nothing but equal to intervals of 0, and here we are going to say fine for let I is equal to 0, I less than intervals dot length I plus plus. Here we are going to say fine, if it is the case, first of all take a current, let current is going to be nothing but previous not previous intervals of I, right? After that we are going to say if current, or we can say previous of n is greater than current of start, that means it has to be, it is overlapping, we have to remove at least a 1. Okay, result plus plus, and we after that we are going to check if previous of 1 is greater than current of 1, means previous of n time is greater than current of n time, that means we have to remove previous one. So previous now should be pointing to current, right? Else we are going to say previous should be pointing to current because none of that interval is overlapping. Fine. After that we are going to return whatever result. Now let's see whether it is working fine or not. So I hope it should work, right? You can see all the test case getting false, all the test case. Why? Because we are getting a 2, right? So that means it has not sorted. Uh, okay, so that means what happened here? It has not sorted it. Okay, so what we are doing actually here. Okay, let's just check me here console.log, right? Console.log. I can say intervals. Now let's see whether it's working fine or not. What is given, right? All right, so there can be 1 comma 2 1 comma, yeah, it is getting a sorted, right? So there is some mistake in the code as well. So intervals, okay, we are starting from 0. That is the main issue, and I have done major work, right? So now it will passing all the test case. You can see, right, it passed successfully all the test case. So let's get try to submit this code as well. Let's see whether it's getting submitted or not. So you guys can see that it successfully got submitted. So we have successfully implemented with Python, C++, Java, and JavaScript programming languages, right? I hope guys you understood the implementation part as well, problem understanding part as well, and the logic part as well. If you have any kind of doubt in these 3 sections, problem understanding, logic, and implementation, you can write in the comment section. I'm always there to help you. And if you learn something new in this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel. Meet you in the next video.